You guys ready to do this?
Let's do it, baby.
You ready?
Yeah.
I know. Oh yeah.
I know this one. It's just a wedding podcast.
All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Scott over at Sound Precision Entertainment and Cufflink Media, and we're doing something that, honestly, I'm super excited about. We are starting a wedding podcast. So I figured a good way to get this thing started is just kind of, let's all talk about who we are, what we do for the company, why we love weddings. So why don't you kick us off, big guy?
I would love to. Honestly, I am beyond excited for this. I think it's going to be very great for everybody involved and everybody that already does business with you, all of our brides and everything else. So my name is Nick O'Connor. I'm a lead DJ with SPE. I've been with you guys for going on 4 years now, something like that.
Yeah, 3 full seasons, I think.
And I absolutely love what I do. I'm a lead DJ, and now we're doing this podcasting thing. So segueing into that, and I think it's going to be very beneficial for everybody because you're going to get to know exactly who is behind the mic. We're going to talk about trending topics. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, and I'm just super stoked to be here. So thanks for having me.
Cool. All right, Jules, what do you got for us?
Hey, so I'm Julia. I'm the director of Cufflink Media. So I do like anything and everything, like photo, and then work the video side as well. Though I don't take videos myself, I just kind of help out on that side. But I do think something like this is great to give out information to brides, other vendors, and then just if you want to learn and join the field as well.
Well, and then for those of you who don't know me, obviously, I said before, my name is Scott. I'm the owner of Sound Precision Entertainment and Cufflink Media. And honestly, I'm really proud. We built one of the best, the coolest multi-ops here in Cleveland. We do offer the DJ, the photo, the video. We've been doing stuff for well over 16 years at this point, so I feel like we have a lot to offer. And honestly, like that's the first thing that I want to kind of talk about. So like when you get into these things, like most of you guys have been looking at YouTube, I'm sure you've seen people talk about podcasts that are specific to other wedding vendors or podcasts that are just always painting rainbows and butterflies for, brides getting married. Like I want to get into like the nitty gritty of this thing. Like it's not always rainbows and butterflies at weddings. And I think it's going to be hilarious to get into some of that.
And I think one of the good reasons of why we can do that is just like our name, it's just a wedding. And it's going to help you to kind of dial back and enjoy your day more and not be so high strung. Oh, everything must go perfect. One bad thing is going to ruin the whole day. It doesn't have to be like that because it's just a wedding. You're going to have fun regardless.
Because let's be real, your wedding day is not going to be perfect. There's always going to be that one thing that goes wrong and you don't want to stress out about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't tell you guys enough how over the years where, there are brides that are going to let the fact that like there was a couple puffy clouds in the sky ruin their entire day. And it's like you've spent an absorbent amount of money, an absorbent amount of time. Like just enjoy your day. Like at the end of the day, the clouds aren't going to matter. A couple raindrops aren't going to matter. That's it. Don't sweat the small stuff, basically.
And I love those couples who realize that there may be a flaw in their wedding day. Maybe there's a cloud in the sky. Maybe there's a few raindrops, but they embrace it. And that's something they look back on 30 years from now and they go, hey, babe, you remember when we had, a rainstorm on our wedding day, but it was the best day of our life still. And that's what it's about. It's about enjoying it no matter what through the trials and tribulations, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, what do we want to get out of this thing? So we talked a little bit about like some of the things we're going to be covering, but like for me, it's, we've talked to our clients, right? And, we used to do all kinds of fantastic blogs and we worked really well at, putting together, updated pages on the website. And what we're finding is like, brides in their early 20s, Julie, not a bride yet, but someone who's in early 20s, that's just not how they're getting information. They're getting information on the go. They're going to the grocery store. They're going to pop on a podcast. So we realized real quickly that like, if our clients are going to be wanting to receive information a certain way, we better bring it to them the way that they'd like to receive it.
Absolutely. And a big component of that is just being available everywhere that you can get your podcasts, right? We're going to be on YouTube. We're going to be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the whole 9 yards. So like you said, let's talk about, the what. What do you want out of this podcast, Julia?
I really kind of want mainly people to learn from this podcast, to give them some like factual things just in the realm of weddings, like to give them an idea, because I know a lot of clients come and sit with us for itineraries and they have no idea what to expect or what to do, and we're always steering them in the way that they should go.
Well, and it's interesting is like if you're being honest, right, like a wedding is the one time in life where the people who have the least experience in any given thing, they're the ones that are in charge of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So it makes a lot of sense that it's like, hey, let's have this be in some ways educational for, the clients or people getting married.
Yeah. And there's so many times during the itinerary meetings where I suggest things and they're like, I didn't even know that was a thing, or I didn't think of that. And I'm like, yeah, you probably should think about these things.
Well, also, I think it's important for us to give our 2 cents on other aspects beyond DJ, photo, and video, venues, catering, floral, even dress and tux and everything else. So we're going to have, obviously, we've been in the game for 16, 17 years. We've been there, done that. We've worked with all of the vendors in Cleveland. We worked with vendors outside of Cleveland. Right. So we have, obviously, our takes on who is better, who you should go with, so on and so forth. But that's another thing we're going to bring. We're going to bring guests.
Excuse me. Whoa, no names, please. We can't get too specific here in Cleveland, Ohio. No names, please.
Well, you can't have me because you own the company. Yeah. But no, seriously though, I mean, like, we're going to have guests come on, right? Vendor spotlights.
I think that's really important. So, one of the things that, you do accrue after doing this for 16 years is we've had the ability and just we've been able to meet some of the most talented, most artistic people in Cleveland. So whether we're talking about, really great DJs in the area or, incredible photographers or, great videographers, we're fortunate that we have them, in our own backyard to where we can bring them in, sit them at this table, pick their brain a little bit because we're smart enough to know that we don't know everything. I think that's an important point. So
yeah, absolutely. And the beauty of this podcast is, I guess you truly don't know where it's going to go because it's all up to the fans at home, and you guys kind of dictate what you want to see. The brides will dictate where this goes.
Yeah, there's going to be some fun stuff. Like, I said that the line rainbows and butterflies before, and really what I mean by that is like, we're going to get into some horror stories. Like, in 16 years, we've seen some wicked things at weddings, and we want the brides who are super worried about, their wedding day to be like, listen, like, things can go wrong, but like, they're likely not going to go this wrong, which is really funny. And then for the vendors, right? Like, you're going to get to hear some ridiculous stories and probably get a couple laughs because you've had a few of your own, but it's going to be some fun stuff to dig into.
And that kind of leads us into our next topic of the why, right? I think why this podcast is different and why we are doing this podcast is even when you have those crazy horror stories, it's still not the end of the world.
Right.
Because it's just a wedding podcast. But it's not the end of the world, and you just have to embrace it, like I said, and you have to go full steam ahead and just learn to enjoy your day, whether it's sunshine or rainbows.
When it comes to getting into weddings, like, there's a lot of jobs where you can do things to go out and make a couple dollars on on any given day. But when you're someone who's going to, give up, Fridays and more importantly, Saturdays and geez, even some Sundays, like, you got to really love what it is that you do. I mean, at least I can speak for myself, like being able to work with a bride on her most excited day, her friends and family are dressed to the nines. And honestly, like, what a better way, in my opinion, like to make a living than to go out and like talk to these people and just help them, enjoy one of the best days of their life. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that for me. So, my why for the podcast, we touch on education, we touch on some horror stories, we want to be funny, but at the end of the day, like, I love doing this. I really do. I love it.
That's why you're successful at it. What's your why?
Mainly like photography's always been a passion, but I feel like the spot that I loved the most was wedding photography. Mainly the emotion behind it, that you can capture those special moments and hold it forever and capture those special, like, intimate magical moments and it be frozen in time. And I think photos are really important. They hold a lot of memories. They're a special part in us. It kind of helps us relive that moment over again, and it's really magical for anyone, even if you've lost someone, or it's just something to keep as a memento. I think it's really important, and it's a magical thing.
I feel like we need to say, "Aw," it was cute, right?
But
yeah, we need. I'll tell you why I think you're sitting here, because I know that Nick and myself don't shut the hell up, and we need a female to keep us in line at this table. So,
I guess I'll go into my why. Being the lead MC, being the person in charge of the show, directing the event, it's solely up to me to give that bride what they want. The caterers are going to have good food regardless. The venue is going to be what it is because they chose it. but it's really up to the DJ day of. The photography, even if they take back pictures, they can edit them and make them look good. But the DJ is that one person who day of runs the show, dictates the night. And without that DJ being his absolute best, being the cheerful person that they want, it could really make a night and day difference on your wedding. And that's why I do it. I call it, very simply, fabricating happiness. That is what I do. I call it fabricating happiness.
It's a good point, Nick, because I literally, after hiring people for, decades now, like, you tell people, like, you could be in a situation where, like, your girlfriend just broke up with you. Or, I mean, I've been in a situation where my grandmother was in hospice. But, like, when you're at that wedding, that bride and groom, you are in the best place in the world. There's no place you'd rather be. You are playing a character. You are living a part. But at the end of the day, like, there's nowhere in the world you'd rather be than right there at that wedding.
It almost eliminates the negative feelings you may have in life. There's been times where, hey, you got dumped by your girlfriend. You got a show the very next day. It doesn't matter because you're not living in your own life. You're living in that life of that couple.
Right.
And you can sense the love. You can sense the energy in the air. The family's happy. Everybody's extremely happy. You have no other feeling to feel besides happiness. So when you're in that moment and you're fabricating that happiness, that's why we do it. That's why I do it. I love it.
And that is why I hired you. That sounded great.
Appreciate it. So we did the what, the where, the why. We want to make sure that we don't forget the grooms.
Grooms are important. We understand that the brides are going to pick the flowers and the dresses and all that, but we're men. We don't want to leave the guys out. So,
it's important to not leave the guys out. It's very traditional and stereotypical that the bride makes 90 to 100% of her decisions. The bride's going to pick out what cake, what catering company. The groom's going to be there. He's going to give his 2 cents, but he's going to be like, babe, I don't care. Choose what makes you happy. Oh, babe, what color should we do? I don't know, babe, whatever color you want. The guy's always going to be like, I don't care. I'd say 9 out of 10 times. I mean, you guys would know. 9 out.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I like the color persimmon. Okay. Sorry. You heard me. Persimmon.
All right. Well, you're that 1 out of 10 weird. But no, in all seriousness, no, we don't want to dismiss the grooms. And in fact, because of that, we're going to create our own segment for the grooms called No Tux Given. And what? No Tux Given.
That's what we settled on. No tux given.
Yeah.
That is what we settled on. No Tux Given.
I fucking love it.
No Tux Given. Coming at you live every episode. There's going to be a special segment dedicated to just the groom. So that way, when you sit down and you watch our podcast with your lovely bride, you could sit there and you could actually feel like you're involved with the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And because the groom's going to like us, now the girl can be more inclined to choose us because the guy likes us too. And we got a ton of amazing things that we're going to show you, stuff we've done in the past, right? We got all types of stuff we've done that are groom specific. And
So we are about 15 minutes into our first ever podcast, but I could already see the No Tux Given merch, right? Like, I'm loving it. In my mind, that's coming to you soon. No Tux Given.
No Tux Given.
No Tux Given, right on the... I could see whole squad, the groomsmen, wearing No Tux Given.
That'd be funny.
I would love it.
I kind of like that. I'm vibing with that.
So, obviously this is the first episode here, guys. So we wanted to kind of paint a picture for who we are, why we've been doing this, why we're in the wedding business, how long we've been in it, and really just kind of, fill you in on what we think you're going to be in store for. So we really do hope you're going to come along for the ride. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I think we're taking it day by day. We're going to kind of see where this thing takes us. But one thing's for sure, we've put in a lot of time, both in building the set and in, preparations for what we want to talk about and some of the branding and logos. So, we're hoping you guys can appreciate it and really do come along for the ride. So I hate this kind of stuff, but I'm going to ask all my kids out there, do me a favor, please do subscribe, like us, share us, comment on things. You're going to find us wherever podcasts are found.
Don't hate it, Scott, because we need that. You guys keep it going and be completely transparent in the comment section. If you don't like something, let us know. I love haters.
We love critiques. Good critiques are always great.
If we're doing a great job, tell us.
Mostly just hate on him. Don't hate on
me. Hey, that's Scott. He's drinking water out of his coffee cup right now.
He wishes.
I never. But no, seriously, critique us, like us, share us, subscribe to us. That's the most important thing. We're going to be everywhere that you can digest podcasts. That's the most important thing is we won't know what you guys want to hear or see if you don't tell us, right?
Makes sense.
That's fair.
So look, I think before we get out of here, one of the things I think we're going to normally start with is just a wedding horror story. And we want to kind of slap people in the face with something crazy that happened. And today we're like, we'll do it in reverse. We'll kind of do it at the end. So I purposely did not tell my co-host Julia and Nick exactly what we're going to be telling here because I wanted authentic reactions. So as you can probably imagine, after doing this for over 16 years, we have seen some of the wildest things happen at weddings. So I'm going to kick things off with one of my all-time favorites here. So, Julia, I'm sure you've seen that there are a lot of brides, you even see these things like, wedding boot camps where the bride's trying to get in shape for her wedding. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I've never really actually seen it.
Sweat for the dress, wedding boot camp. So,
yeah.
you get these brides who are already beautiful in their own right, and they're going, hey, I want to get fit. I want to look my absolute best for my wedding. So, sometimes for weeks or even months, they are on these unbelievably strict diets trying to make sure that they are ready
to fit in
their their wedding dress. So, and a lot of times what happens is on their wedding day, they're tucked into these corsets and they're pulled tight and they can barely breathe. They're talking like a mouse. And it's crazy. And because they're so wrapped into these gowns, the last thing that they want to do is have to use the restroom. So what they're not doing, they're not taking in fluids. They're certainly not eating. So I cannot tell you over the years how many times I've seen this happen, but one time is my ultimate favorite. So we had a bride. She looked fantastic. She got herself in shape. For the wedding, she really did look fantastic. So finally on her wedding day, she's super excited. She's out there. She's drinking red wine. She's partying on the limo bus. She's just living her best life. And she hadn't eaten or drank anything that day. And she probably hadn't eaten or drank anything in weeks, literally. And she has the wedding up at the altar. They share their first kiss, and they're coming out of the wedding to, recess. And everybody's outside, and there's these beautiful steps coming down the church, and there's bubbles being blown and all that. And I, hand to God, I shit you not, bride walks out the door, throws up red wine all down the front of her dress. I'm talking about
that is a nightmare.
Baby spit up. I'm talking about full projectile vomit, looking like blood, firing out of the bride's mouth on the steps of a church, down her gown.
Oh my God.
The crowd went the faces were outrageous. It was, from the vendor perspective, one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Sure, it was silent, dead silence. Just no one knew how to react.
When you hear that,
the gas. Oh,
so where you guys were the DJs there, was our photo video there?
Not at that time. So this is years ago. This is more than 8 years ago before Cufflink even started. So we were there because we were running sound in the rear of the church. So that's why we were there at this wedding. So I was probably taking my BlackBerry Curve 8350 joke video.
How did the photographers react to that?
Oh,
there's no good way to react. Everybody was just stunned. So then it's a snowball effect the entire day. So now we go back to the hall. Luckily for the bride, it is at one of our hotel chains. So, we're through cocktail hour, no bride.
Oh man,
we're halfway through dinner, no bride. And I'm going, where the fuck? What's going on? Where's the
bride? Wow.
Apparently, mom and aunt are upstairs just scrubbing the shit out of this dress, trying to get it out.
Oh.
And when she did finally come back down, the entire night, just like my coat, you're a nice light pink circle.
And you spend thousands of dollars on those dresses.
Beautiful.
Those are not cheap.
It was a beautiful wedding. Wouldn't be surprised if it was a 6-figure wedding. So I guess what we're telling you, ladies, is, when you're worried, when you're sitting up at night on your couch, when you're reading these blogs, when you're looking at the wedding wire and the knot, remember that, your wedding day, things might go wrong, but I highly doubt it's going to go that wrong. And you got to remember, it's just a wedding podcast.
Please drink and eat on your wedding day.
Well, let me tell you this, and maybe this is why I'm not a photographer. Here's how I would have responded to that directly. I would have got the best photos of it ever.
Yeah.
Immediately, 50 photos of the dress.
You can also Photoshop it out the best you can. Depending on how the dress looks, you might be able to.
Completely wrong.
You can show some with the wine just as a memory, I guess. But, as a photographer, I would show some with it Photoshopped out.
I don't remember who was the photographer, nor do I remember ever seeing the photos.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the photographer who remembers this story here in Cleveland, and you have photos, please hit me up.
And
I would love to walk down memory lane with.
and did you edit the wine out of her dress in the photos,
Keep it raw.
or kept it raw?
Keep it raw, baby. Always.
Well, Jesus. So here's what I
You said you wanted it on film, sir, dude. I mean, hey.
it's going to be an unfiltered look. Well, here's what I can say. We wanted the first one to be a little glimpse into who we are, what we do. I think we've achieved that. So, again, one more time, please do like, subscribe, get the conversation started. I'm super excited. We're going to be releasing these things weekly is the plan. So
Weekly, what day? Tuesdays, correct?
Tuesday nights around 7 p.m. they're going to be released. So please do check it out. And could not be more excited. I want to thank you guys in advance for everything you're going to do for us. So thanks, guys. It's Just a Wedding Podcast.
It's just a wedding podcast.
It's just a wedding podcast.
It's just a wedding podcast.